What if the people you trusted most in the world suddenly turned into your worst enemies? What if your own parents locked you out of the house your grandmother left you in her will? That's exactly what happened to one woman, and her revenge story will leave you speechless. Picture this. You're 32, successful, living your best life. Then one day, you get a text from your mom that changes everything. We changed the locks. You don't have a home anymore. That's how Sarah's nightmare began. And trust me, what happens next will make your blood boil and then make you cheer. Sarah was a communications director at a tech company, working hard and minding her own business. She just wrapped up a boring work meeting when her phone buzzed. The message from her mother hit like a freight train. She read it 3 times, laughing that hollow laugh you make when your brain can't process pure betrayal. Her response? Oh, real brave, real funny. Let's see who gets the last laugh. Little did she know she'd get exactly that. See, this wasn't just any house. This was 17 Riverside Drive, the home where Sarah grew up. More importantly, it was the house her beloved grandmother Helen had left her in her will. Not to her parents, not to be split among the family, to Sarah. Period. But here's where it gets twisted. Sarah had poured her life savings into restoring this place. Every brick, every window frame, every piece of history, she'd lovingly brought it back to life. Her grandmother Helen was the only family member who truly understood her. When Helen passed at 94, Sarah thought her parents were just grieving. She even told them, "I'm not kicking anyone out. I just want to preserve things the way Grandma wanted." Boy, was she wrong. Her mother Carol had always been controlling, the type who'd stay mad for weeks if you changed a rug without permission. But this was next level evil. The will reading was like something out of a movie. Picture a rainy afternoon, law office, everyone sitting around a conference table looking uncomfortable. The lawyer, Mrs. Watson, had this no-nonsense energy that could cut through any family drama. "The last will and testament of Mrs. Helen June Harrison," she began. "Full ownership of the property at 17 Riverside Drive, including all possessions inside, goes to her granddaughter Sarah." Silence. Pure, cold silence. Sarah's father turned red and hissed, "This can't be right. Your mother was already losing her mind." But the will was rock solid, notarized, witnessed, completely legal. Here's the kicker. Helen had even left Sarah a handwritten letter explaining everything. In her careful handwriting, she wrote, "This house isn't just property, it's memory. You were the only one who ever truly listened. You asked about every scratch in the hardwood, every story behind each room. I believe only you will keep this place a home." Sarah's mother muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "This is ridiculous. That girl can't even manage an old house." That should have been Sarah's first red flag. Within weeks, her parents started their campaign of terror. Phone calls demanding she sell immediately. Her mother saying, "Don't be selfish. Your father and I planned our retirement around the money from that house." But it wasn't their house anymore. It was Sarah's. When Sarah refused to sell, the family went ice cold. No more words, just hostile stares and awkward silences during family dinners. Her father wouldn't even enter the house. Her brother Ryan stayed neutral, which in family wars means he picked their side. Sarah tried everything to keep the peace. Holiday dinners, her mother's favorite recipes, her father's preferred desserts. But every meal felt like eating glass. Cold glances and silences that lasted longer than the food. Then Sarah discovered the truth that changed everything. While she was trying to preserve her grandmother's memory, her parents had been planning to cash in all along. A neighbor told her he'd seen people in suits surveying the property before Helen even died. Her parents had already been negotiating with developers while Grandma was still alive. They weren't shocked by the will. They were shocked they lost their payday. That's when the real war began. Her parents filed a petition claiming Helen wasn't mentally competent when she wrote the will. They accused Sarah of manipulating a sick old woman. They dragged their own mother's reputation through the mud for money. But here's where Sarah's story takes an incredible turn. Remember that business trip Sarah took? She closed a huge deal worth over $700,000, was feeling on top of the world, ready to come home and celebrate. She texted her friend Lisa about baking together to celebrate. Then she got to her front door. The key wouldn't turn. New lock. Brand new, shiny lock that she'd never seen before. While she stood there in the rain, confused and broken, the text came. Don't bother calling. The locks have been changed. You don't live there anymore. No warning, no legal notice, no conversation. Just gone. Around back, she found 3 trash bags thrown under the awning like garbage. Her clothes, toiletries, family photos. Everything tossed out like she was some deadbeat tenant. The worst part? Her important documents were missing. Passport, birth certificate, the copy of the will, even the bracelet her grandmother had engraved. Helen to Sarah, keep going. All gone. But Sarah wasn't going down without a fight. She called Lisa, who came immediately and said exactly what Sarah needed to hear. You're not staying here another night. We're seeing a lawyer first thing tomorrow. That lawyer was Amber Stone, a woman who didn't flinch at any system. Sharp features, ice-cold eyes, and a reputation for destroying people who thought they were untouchable. Amber listened to Sarah's story without interrupting once. When Sarah finished, Amber leaned back and said something beautiful. Your parents changing locks, dumping your belongings, and holding your documents counts as illegal eviction. Especially severe since you're the legal property owner. The plan was simple but devastating. Emergency injunction to restore access, civil lawsuit for damages, and police investigation for withholding personal documents. But Sarah's parents weren't done being evil. 3 days later, the police called Sarah. Her parents had filed a theft report against her, claiming she'd stolen antique jewelry and legal documents from the house. The same documents they were holding hostage. Amber's response was ice cold. They're trying to turn you into a suspect. All contact goes through me now. That's when Sarah got the phone call that changed everything. An unknown number, unknown woman. But the first word stopped Sarah's heart. You don't know me, but I'm Helen's half-sister. Your great-aunt Margaret. I have something Helen left behind, with strict instructions to only deliver it if the family turned against you. Margaret lived 3 hours away in a tiny mountain town. When Sarah arrived, this tough old woman handed her a sealed envelope and said, Helen hated small talk, so I'll be direct. She left this 1 month before she passed. Told me if Sarah ever gets pushed around, give it to her personally. Inside that envelope was pure gold. A 3-page letter from Helen, dated and detailed. But more importantly, there was a USB stick labeled, if they deny it, open this. On that USB was an 8-minute audio recording. Helen's voice, clear and sharp. I, Helen June Harrison, am of sound mind and fully aware of my actions. If anyone claims I was mentally unfit, please listen to this recording. Then came the arguing. Sarah's parents, pressuring Helen to sell, even suggesting they put her in a care facility so they could better manage the property. Her father saying, we already have a buyer, Helen. You just need to agree. And Helen's firm response, I don't agree, and if either of you pushes me again, I'll call a lawyer immediately. At the end, Helen whispered, I know they won't stop, but Sarah will stand firm. Court day arrived like Judgment Day. Sarah wore navy blue, hair pulled back, looking composed but hurt. Her parents sat across the courtroom with their expensive lawyer, avoiding eye contact like cowards. Their lawyer started with polished lies about preserving family legacy and preventing commercialization. Then Amber stood up and destroyed them. She played Helen's recording in open court. Sarah's parents' voices echoing through the room, pressuring a 94-year-old woman to sell her home so they could retire comfortably. Sarah's mother whispered, "Oh God," and buried her face. Her father couldn't even look at the judge. The judge's words were beautiful. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, changing locks, unlawfully occupying property, and defaming your daughter are serious legal violations. Even as parents, you are still bound by law. Sarah won everything. The house, compensation for damages, legal fees, and a restraining order keeping her parents 200 feet from the property. When her father tried to protest, calling it injustice, the judge shut him down cold. If you continue, I'll have the bailiff escort you out. Victory tastes different when it comes from family betrayal. Sarah didn't feel triumphant. She felt free. Returning to the house was surreal. They'd stripped it bare out of spite. Grandmother's paintings gone, antique tea sets missing, even the washing machine hose pulled out, leaving stagnant water everywhere. But Sarah didn't see destruction. She saw possibility. She spent 3 weeks restoring everything with her friend Lisa and volunteers. Warm cream walls, vintage glass fixtures, and a new gallery space where the old dining room used to be. She called it the Harrison Room, a way to continue her grandmother's story. The gallery opened 3 months later with a photography exhibition about family and distance. Sarah stood in that crowded room, wine glass in hand, looking at black and white photos on exposed brick walls, thinking, "I've truly come home." Even her brother Ryan showed up, bringing a photo of Grandma in her garden. He apologized for staying silent, but Sarah had learned something important. Grandma knew who she trusted, and now I do too. Today, Sarah runs the gallery 3 days a week, showcasing artists who've never had chances in big city venues. Her parents send birthday cards with just her name, no extra words. She keeps them not for forgiveness, but to remember boundaries. Great Aunt Margaret became the family Sarah never knew she needed, sharing stories about Helen's younger days, her dreams, her struggles. These pieces help Sarah understand her grandmother not just as the woman who saved her, but as someone who'd been brave, romantic, defeated, and still chose love. The centerpiece of the gallery is a photo of Helen sitting on the porch, sunlight in her silver hair, gazing at teenage Sarah behind the camera. The caption reads, "Some homes are not built from bricks, but from trust." Sarah stands before that photo after every exhibition and whispers, "You were right, and I didn't back down." This story proves something powerful. Sometimes the people closest to us hurt us the most. But from that pain, we learn to stand up, set boundaries, and protect our worth. Just because someone's called family doesn't give them the right to destroy what's rightfully ours. When we dare to say no to injustice, even from our own blood, we don't just reclaim our property, we reclaim control over our lives. Sarah's courage should inspire all of us. She could have given up, could have let them win, could have walked away from the fight. Instead, she stood her ground and proved that sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to be defeated. What do you think about Sarah's journey? Would you have had the strength to fight your own family in court? Drop your thoughts below, and if this story moved you, make sure to hit that like button and follow for more incredible true stories that prove ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they refuse to give up.